My upbringing was just very regular. I wasn't religious. My family was kind of traditional. So I was just kind of a regular kid. Summer of 10th grade. We moved to San Diego and packed up our stuff, and our stuff didn't show up. Like it just never came. The moving truck stole everything we had. We went bankrupt that year. So we didn't have a house. We didn't have stuff anymore. We didn't have anything to sell.
Wow, so you guys are like thrust into poverty.
We were homeless. We had nothing, like literally nothing. I remember my sister and I would fight over who had to sleep on the blow-up mattress. My parents decided to enroll me in an all-girls Orthodox school, which to me was like the most awful thing you could do. I put on this like strong front, I guess. I was like, everything's gonna work out. Partially, I think I was in denial, but partially I was just trying so hard to be strong. How long can you keep going for? Like there's a certain point where you'll collapse. And I learned that the hard way. I did collapse.
Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Meaningful People. I sat down with Maddie Stein, and this is an incredible story of resilience, perseverance. It's a story that you may really relate to in your life in so many different ways. So listen to the very end, because it just gets better and better and better with each unfolding turn. Okay, this episode is sponsored by friends at Colel Chabad. Download the Pushka app right now, pushka.cc/meaningful. Get that Pushka app on your phone. Giving Tzedaka never became so simple, so easy, and so meaningful, because Colel Chabad is a great organization to support, and you can do it so simply right now on the Pushka app, pushka.cc/meaningful. Download the Pushka app today from Colel Chabad. I want to let you know that the conversation with Maddie does not end here. There are 5 more questions with her that you can find on Meaningful Minute Plus, exclusive content, live streams with our favorite creators, and bonus episodes of all of our podcasts are available right now on Meaningful Minute Plus. Become a member today, mmplus.org. That is mmplus.org. You want to join a live stream with Support Gretko and ask your questions? Join. You want to see off the record episodes with myself and different guests you may not see on Meaningful People? Join. 2 Cents Podcast. You want to see that? Join. So much content, and you are supporting Meaningful Minutes work at the same time. Become a member today at mmplus.org. Oh, and one more thing. You will be able to win $200 right now by commenting on this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, comment the answer to this question. Where in the world are you watching this episode from? Are you in Spain? Are you in Alaska? Are you in New York, New Jersey, Lakewood? I don't know. We want to know where our viewers are from. Comment down below. You win $200. Winner is announced on Thursday. So comment down below right now. $200 cash can be yours. Where are you watching this episode from? Now enjoy this episode. Maddie Stein, welcome to Meaningful People. This is your episode.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I'd say that, you have a growing presence, but it's very possible that people watching may have no clue who you are. And now they're going to find out all about who you are in your life. And that's really cool. And that's literally what I love doing about this podcast is like, let's put something on the map here. Let's talk about something and let's make some magic. So, let's introduce you to the world. Let's start from the beginning of your journey, the beginning of your story. Tell me a little bit about, where you grew up and what your upbringing was like.
Okay. So I was born in Florida. I moved around a lot as a kid, but we were in Florida for a bit. My upbringing was just very regular. Like I wasn't religious. My family was kind of traditional. So I was just kind of a regular kid. We were very comfortable. I think that's an important part of my story. But we were comfortable financially and yeah, I felt pretty normal and I liked that life and it was nice. I think only up until 10th grade, life then became not normal. But otherwise, up until then, it was solid. It was
so the first 15 years of your life, it's kind of like the ordinary, regular.
Yeah.
Everything's cool.
Yeah.
So I guess let's fast forward a bit to 10th grade. What happened then? What year was that?
Let's go back to 6th grade because 6th grade was when my parents put me into Solomon Schechter. So up until then, we moved around a lot, but I was basically, for the most part, in public schools. If I was in a Jewish school, it was pretty reform, maybe conservative, but yeah, for the most part, public school. And then in 6th grade, my parents enrolled me in Solomon Schechter. And that was like my first opening to Judaism. And I learned a lot there because I felt like I didn't know much. We would light like Hanukkah candles and, I knew what Pesach was, but I didn't feel like I knew a lot. And Solomon Schechter, we had a really good rabbi who actually taught me what Shabbos was, what Kosher was.
Wow, so you guys really, like growing up, the family was not connected at all to Judaism.
Not really. I mean, like there was a point where like my parents wanted to start keeping kosher, but like we had Cheetos in the garage. That was like my stash. And we would just like go to the garage and eat the Cheetos and then come back in. But like, I don't really think we were anything like, I think even if we tried to keep kosher, I don't think we understood what that meant because we weren't surrounded by religious Jews, up until I think maybe 8th grade. So 6th grade, I went to Solomon Schechter till 8th grade. Halfway through 8th grade, I went to public school because my parents couldn't keep me in Solomon Schechter anymore. I guess that's kind of where the story starts, and then 10th grade is where like everything happens. But
you said so like how many siblings do you have?
I have one sister. She's 21 months younger than me. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And which part of Florida you said you grew up in?
In Fort Lauderdale.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so I guess let's talk about what happened. You said 6th grade or 10th grade? So
6th grade.
Yeah.
By then we moved around a lot. By then we were in Dallas. I went to Solomon Schechter in Dallas, Texas, and started learning about religion. Across the street from us was Torah Day School. So my parents would, drop me off and pick me up and see the frum girls walking out of school. And it started to like pique their interest, but they're like, whatever, in the beginning. Then I went to public school, and like that's when they actually started really thinking about like, what are we doing like religiously? Because I'm going to public school and I'm hanging out with Christian girls, Catholic girls. I'm like, they're trying to get me to sing songs about JC, like,
Gospel, especially in Texas. Like Texas, that's like it's a big thing there. You mentioned, this might be on everyone's mind who's listening, is like you moved around a lot.
Yeah.
I guess like how much, like which are like what are the top places that you went to, and also why? Like what was that about?
Honestly, I feel like it was a different reason every time. I don't know, like. So we started off in Florida. We moved to Mexico. My parents are from Mexico, both of them born in Mexico. So I think they just wanted to come back. But then we were in Mexico for a little bit. And honestly, it wasn't like the best experience. It wasn't safe at all. And we weren't in the religious area. We were just like, with everything. So, so we went back to Florida. We got hit by some hurricanes. My parents are like, yeah, I'm out. I can't do this anymore. So then we went to Dallas. So we moved a little bit after that, but we went to Dallas for between 6th to 10th grade.
Okay. And then there's this moment where your parents are like, Maddie's singing about a different religion and we're kind of Jewish, even though we eat Cheetos, and we're not okay with that. So what happened then?
Yeah. So I was aware now that there is, things like kosher and Shabbos, but I wasn't interested. I went to public school and I was very happy to be normal. There was one girl who was religious in my classes, and I remember looking at her like she was like an alien. Like, how are you doing this in public school? It's got to be the hardest thing. No one is religious there. So I was very happy to not be involved in any of this. But my parents kind of, I think they started getting freaked out that I was assimilating. And honestly, at that point in my life, I don't think I cared if I would have married non-Jewish. It wasn't a priority to me. And I think that freaked my parents out a little bit. So they started thinking about, we see those girls across the street from Solomon Schechter. They look like good Jewish girls. Maybe we can get involved with that scene a little bit. So they didn't pull me out of public school, but we started going to shul. I mean, I went like like they had to drag me. It's not like I was happy to go, but yeah.
I mean, you're a teenager and they're trying to like spring some extracurricular religion that you guys really never, focused onto you.
Yeah. And I just wanted to go to homecoming and prom. That's all I wanted. Like,
so you were living the real American Texan life.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
You wanted to just, like, you didn't, again, like you said, it wasn't a priority, marry Jewish. Like, that wasn't even on your horizon.
No, it was not an interest. There was no desire whatsoever. But my parents kept pushing for it, and I kept resisting. They would keep trying to get me to go to different rabbis' houses for Shabbos, just for even a meal, not the full Shabbos. And I was so resistant. I would put up a fight. I was a stubborn kid. And honestly, I held out for a long time, considering. They even sent me to Camp Nagila. Do you know of Camp Nagila Midwest?
Midwest?
Yeah, there's also East. Yeah. It's in, it was in Illinois. I don't know where it is now. They moved it. I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah. I mean, everyone knows. I mean, I've heard of Camp Nagila. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So it's like kind of like Kirov in a way. Like they try to like Jewish experience.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how that went for you. I'm gonna take a stab in the dark and say it was terrible.
It was
how
awful.
was that for you?
Well, in the beginning was awful. I ended up loving it, but my dad literally had to drag me. He actually went on the airplane with my sister and I, went off the airplane, made sure we were in the camp bus before he went back home, because I would have just been like, okay, peace. I'm going to go out to the streets of Illinois and try to figure out something else to do. Like I was not interested. I was also kind of a rebellious teenager. So I was like, unless he actually takes me there, I'm going to try to figure out a way to not get there. So he did. And at the beginning was rough. I remember I became friends with a girl named Sophia. She looks at me and she's like, hey, I'm Sophia. I'm like, hey, I'm Maddie. I hate this place. What about you? She's like, I hate this place too. I'm like, okay, let's be friends.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
that makes sense. When this was happening, like it sounds like your parents are trying to really get you on that religious path. Were they also becoming more religious at the same time, or their life was kind of not changing?
It wasn't like changing so much, but it wasn't not. I think they were interested. But like, it's not like they just started keeping Shabbos or kosher, but they were trying to. I just kind of wouldn't let it happen. Like,
it's like interesting. It's like interesting to me, like that they had this focus on for you, right?
Yeah.
And it would make sense if that in their life they were really becoming more religious, right? And they wanted you to come along. But it sounds like there was a focus on making sure their kids don't assimilate. Like they did not want that to happen.
I think it was they were interested. But I think it started with like this fear of like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing with our life? Like this road we're taking, our kids are not going to end up being, good little Jewish kids. Like they're going to end up being God knows what. And I think that scared them. But then they realized that like, but I also want this. So I think they actually enjoyed Shabbos. It was hard to tell because I was in my own little world of like, I hate everything. But I think they actually enjoyed it. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So you and Sophia are friends now in Camp Nagila.
Yeah.
Midwest.
And basically we're like hating it. And then I think maybe 2 or 3 years in, I started to like it. I had these awesome counselors, Menucha and Joanna, shout out. And they changed it for me. I mean, also I had other amazing counselors too, but I think that with them, also Liba was an amazing counselor. With them, I remember having the hard conversations. And I think
what
I needed that.
were those hard conversations for you at that point in your life?
So for me at that point in my life, a lot about tznius. What are you doing in public school with tznius? The way you're dressing you're attracting the wrong attention. That's not what you want. And it was a confusing time for me because I was this teenage girl that was going through a lot of things in my life, which I'll talk about the other stuff in a bit, but I just wanted to feel loved. And so I dressed a certain way, acted a certain way. And I was just really confused and I didn't understand the world. I was looking at everything from a very naive lens. And I think my counselors kind of woke me up and they're like, you don't understand like the path that you're going on. Wake up. And so they taught me a lot about tznius. I remember that year I even learned about like different things like shomer negia and like later on in life, like I started asking questions about like marriage, like what do people do? And they explained to me that they don't touch till marriage. I thought that was the craziest thing. Like I could not understand that, but that really opened my eyes to different worlds. And it started to be interesting to me just because it was so different. It was so radically different than anything I knew. It was interesting. I started to enjoy it. Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, like, these are summers, obviously, and you're coming home in the year.
Yeah. And I came home and I did my regular thing. I just went to public school. It sat in the back of my head.
You mean like you have like this spiritual summer experience and you come home and you like, I don't know if you undo it, but you kind of like get back into that world. But you're saying it's like, this is in your head the whole while. It's
like in my head and I'm like, I remember the first thing I ever took on, which sounds so small, but I think it's so important for people to hear this. The first thing I ever took on was putting a tank top under my V-neck shirts, which is like, it feels like such a small thing. But for me, it was like, it's a little more tznius. And I think that those baby steps is the reason why I'm religious today, because I didn't rush it. I internalized everything that they said and I slowly took things on. I wasn't thinking at that time, oh, I'm going to just become religious. But I started thinking about like the impact that it would make on my life from a non-religious standpoint. Like this makes sense. This actually makes sense. So I started taking on things little by little. But I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to become religious at all. But then here's I guess where everything shifts. We moved from Dallas to San Diego, summer of 10th grade. So going into 10th grade, basically my grandmother passed away. My dad wanted to like reunite the family. My family was in San Diego. So he's like, okay, everyone, we're packing up, we're going. Everything was so quick. She died, we moved. I don't know. It was just a kind of crazy summer. In that summer, we moved to San Diego and packed up our stuff, and our stuff didn't show up. Like it just never came. The moving truck stole everything we had.
Oh my gosh, so, that's traumatic.
Yeah, that was a pretty wild experience. At the same time,
you didn't get your stuff back, like.
No, never. I don't have baby pictures. Like,
wow.
Yeah. I don't have anything from my childhood. It's pretty crazy. No like school projects that your parents save for a year is like nothing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And at the same time, so the reason why my parents had moved me in 8th grade was because we were starting to struggle financially. The stock market crashed at that time and a lot of people were struggling at that time. And so that was hard on them. We had to move from a nice big house to a smaller big house. But for me, that was like, okay, what's going on? But then I don't fully know what happened, but I think I think we went bankrupt that year. And so we didn't have a house. We didn't have stuff anymore. We were planning on selling all our stuff when we got to San Diego, or selling some of it and making some money off of it, because their business was also not doing well. But then we didn't have anything to sell.
Wow. So you guys are like thrust into poverty. And you had mentioned in the beginning that your family was financially very, very comfortable. And then in 2008, the crash happens. Yeah. And you guys are in a tailspin.
Yeah. It was a pretty wild experience going from like being in a really nice, beautiful house to like, when we lost our stuff, we're like, okay. So I guess my parents were like, I guess we have to move to the hood. So we moved to the hood. It was crazy. Like I went from like in San Diego, I went from like having a nice, comfortable home to like, we washed our laundry in the laundromat. Like we were in this tiny apartment that it wasn't even, we were borrowing someone's apartment. Like, I don't even know, but this guy had this apartment. It was empty. We were living there. We had nothing, like literally nothing. I remember my sister and I would fight over who had to sleep on the blow up mattress. I always won sleeping on the nice mattress. I feel bad, but, yeah, it was rough. It was really rough. And that my whole life changed. I went to a new place. I didn't know a soul. All my friends were, back in Dallas, and I felt like I couldn't tell them what was happening because honestly, I was embarrassed. But I also didn't tell the new people because that's not really like a cool thing to say. Hey, I'm Maddie and I'm poor. Like, I don't know. I just felt like that was something I'd keep to myself. So no one really knew what we were going through. And not only that, my parents decided to enroll me in an all-girls Orthodox school, which to me was like the most awful thing you could do.
There's not enough change happening. If there's not enough change happening at once,
I know.
Let's just go. Wow, that's really interesting. The whole thing about the money is like, as a child, which you're a teenager at that point.
Yeah,
something's happening to you which you have zero control over.
Yeah.
There's zero control. Like, it's just happening.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you can make a different decision or you can do something.
Right.
It was, I don't know. That's
out of my control. Wild. It was also the first time I've actually like really seen poverty, because I was living a pretty privileged life. So like being in the hood and seeing people like holding guns and like hearing gunshots at night, like it was a rude awakening. It was
right.
pretty
So
crazy.
I'm gonna first of all, like, yeah, you didn't just see it, you lived it. That's like a distinction. And also, I'm gonna say that most of our listeners probably, when you say the hood, they have no idea what that looks like. So paint that picture. Like, some people right now in like parts of the world are like, wow, you're wearing a hoodie? Like, they have no idea. Like, you just dropped it. Like, they have no clue.
We lived in a very poor Mexican area, very dangerous, very scary. And the poverty that you see there is kind of unlike anything you've seen. It's like you drive into this neighborhood and you automatically don't feel safe. You hear gunshots. People are on the streets just doing crazy things. You see crazy things on the street when you're in the hood. It's not a place anyone would want to be, even drive through. It's a pretty freaky place to live, and I was living there.
You felt like you kind of in danger? I'm guessing you didn't feel comfortable like going out at night and stuff.
No, I'd walk my dog and be like, okay, everything's gonna be fine. I'm gonna survive this. There are parts of me that was like, Maddie, you're being dramatic. But then there were parts of me that were like, no, look around. Like, I think a lot of my life when I was poor, I was like kind of in denial. I was like, it's fine. Like, everything's fine, But like when I saw that guy holding that gun, like right next to me, I'm just like, how is this normal? You can't make this seem like it's okay. It's I don't know,
Yeah, and it's like so scary that people actually like live this way currently. Like, thank God you're not there anymore.
Yeah.
But people, I would say in like many parts of America, there are these hoods and people live like that, and this is their life, and it's scary that a kid has to kind of like toughen up and survive that world. Right. That's what you had to do.
Yeah, and we lived there for a bit, and thank God we got out of there. The Jewish community took us in. They helped us tremendously.
So how was the Orthodox? Yeah, how was the Orthodox? Like, you're living in the hood, but then you said you were enrolled in Orthodox school. Right.
So someone paid for us. I don't know who. We got a scholarship. We got a free ride. Or if it wasn't free, my parents paid very minimally. Honestly, it was the biggest blessing in disguise, because at first I was really unhappy being there. But it's where I found God. I remember I would go to school every day, and it was like you had to be in tefillah. And it was kind of like you weren't forced, but you were, I feel like it's like that in a lot of schools. And so I would go to tefillah, and in the beginning I just felt really numb. Like, I would just go there and sit there. I also don't know how to daven. Like, I don't know these things, you know?
Right.
And then I ended up finding tefillah through crying. So I would just go in front of a wall, and I would just sob. I would just like let it all come out. And that was how I started talking to Hashem. I didn't know God too well. But I remember in camp them singing different songs like God loves you, like Hashem loves you, all these different, Shabbos niggins. And it was like kind of in the back of my head where I realized that there is a reason for this. God loves me. It's really hard, but I have no one else to turn to. God's my father, and he put me in the situation. So I'm going to yell at him. I'm going to cry to him. I'm going to ask him for help. And that's what I did. And that's how I started turning to Judaism. And my entire high school experience, we were very poor. A lot of people didn't know it, but yeah, like my wardrobe was hand-me-downs, like people just giving us clothes. And also my wardrobe went from like short shorts to skirts. So, and we couldn't afford to buy skirts. So people just gave us their clothes. Since I was in the Jewish community, I kind of felt like I needed to dress the part. And eventually I ended up, connecting to it. But in the beginning, I was like, I just felt like a deer in the headlights. Like I was just so in such a daze, so confused. And I learned little by little more and more as we were going through this poverty. Like as we got in the Jewish community, we would get evicted from one home, move into another home, get evicted from another home. It was like a cycle of just getting evicted, and me just going to school and just crying my eyes out. That was my high school experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And where are you guys living at this time? I know you said you're out of the hood. So
yeah, we were living in the college area in San Diego. We went to Beth Jacob, and honestly, thank God for that community, because in 12th
they saved you.
Yeah, I mean, it was really helpful. It was just helpful to have somewhat of a support system. In some senses, I felt really alone, but in other senses, just being around Jews, like Jews do look out for each other. And there was a point in 12th grade where we were actually homeless. Like we got evicted enough times. No one wanted to rent out to us. So we were homeless, and I'm so grateful for the Milsteins who let me and my sister stay by their house, and the Adados who let my parents stay at their house. And it was such a gift. It was really such a gift. There was a period of time where like my parents were just like living out of their car and whatever, and people just tried to help, as best as they could. So thank God. It was
Wow.
good. Yeah.
Homeless.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys were living in a big house and now you had nothing. Your parents are literally living out of their car. And it sounds like you guys split up as a family in a way.
Yeah, because like who can host 4 people? I don't know. I guess it just made sense at that time to do that. And it was a short period of time for me because I ended up going to seminary. Thank God, Rabbi First from Kent Nagila, who was incredible. He is incredible. He paid for my seminary for both years.
Wow.
An incredible human being, he just kept checking in on me. He remembered me from Camp Nagila, and he just kept checking in. And he's like a gadol. Like, what are you doing checking in on little me and making sure that I get to seminary? But he got me to seminary, and that was such a gift. So I didn't experience poverty after 12th grade. I mean, I guess we didn't have money when I was in seminary, so I would just eat like popcorn for lunch. But it wasn't like that. That was normal. Yeah. I didn't feel so alone at that point.
Were your parents cool with you? Were they happy with you going to seminary? Were they on board with that?
Honestly, I don't even remember. I was in such a daze at that point because like we were homeless in the summer. I was just like, I'm getting out of here. Someone's offering me to go to Israel. Like I'm out. I need to like get far, far away from this. my life was really, really hard. And I kept it to myself for basically the entire time. So I just wanted to be anonymous, and I wanted to be somewhere where I wasn't constantly reminded of how hard life was. And I got out. I couldn't run fast enough. And I went to Sharpens, and it was great.
We'll be right back to this episode, but I want to let you know if you're going to follow one page on Instagram you have to make sure that is We Are Off the Page. This page led by real estate investor, philanthropist David Lichtenstein. Yes, from the Headlines podcast, David Lichtenstein. If you crave real stories, raw emotions, and real wisdom, We Are Off the Page is the page that you're going to want to follow and tap into. It's not just another feed. These are stories that make the Torah feel alive. They're moving, and honestly, they are impossible to scroll by. So if you find yourself doom scrolling, or maybe you're looking for a page where you can draw some real meaning from and gain some actual value, We Are Off the Page is the page to follow. Go right now to Instagram, We Are Off the Page, hit that follow button, maybe hit that notification bell, and watch every single post. They're doing an incredible, incredible job of churning out amazing content on Instagram. Go follow them right now. We Are Off the Page is where Torah and humanity meet. Unfiltered, relevant, and deeply inspiring. Go check them out. If you're hurt or find yourself in an accident, which, let's be real, it happens more than we like it, you need the right lawyer on your side. That's when you call the Rothenberg Law Firm. For over 55 years, they've been a cornerstone in our community, helping people just like you. They've won and collected billions of dollars for their clients. And the best part, if they don't win, you don't pay. When you choose Rothenberg, you're not just getting a lawyer, you're getting a trusted friend who treats you like family. They understand that a personal injury can turn your life upside down. So they go well beyond just legal representation. They will make sure your medical bills are paid by the appropriate parties and that your family is taken care of during this rough time. Everybody knows Rothenberg, so you know they're the name you can trust. So if you ever find yourself needing legal help, remember to head to injurylawyer.com or call them 1-800-624-8888 for a free case evaluation. Make sure to keep the Rothenberg Law Firm on speed dial, because not every injury lawyer has the resources to stand up to the big corporations and insurance companies. They've been fighting the good fight for over 5 decades, and they are not slowing down. I hope you never need them, but if you do, the Rothenberg family is there for you.
It's like so crazy that it's one thing to go through this as a teenager, but it's another thing to not be able to talk to anybody about it all the while.
Yeah.
To really be able to just like decompress.
I think part of the time I was in denial, it was crazy. Like, I remember there was one day where I answered when we got the eviction notice, and sorry. And I had to be the one to tell my family that we were getting evicted again. And it was just wild because I put on like this like strong front, I guess. I was like, everything's going to work out. Partially, I think I was in denial, but partially I was just trying so hard to be strong. And then the next day I went to school. Like nothing happened. I could have spoken to people about it, but I just felt like it was so much. I felt like if I would start talking about it, I honestly, I feel like I would have collapsed. Like, you know, when there's just so much, how do you even explain like 4 years of poverty? You know, it started, but let's say from 10th to 12th grade, those were the thick of it. Like, how do you explain that to someone who I'd go to people's house for Shabbos and they had like these crazy houses in La Jolla. Like, I don't know if you know La Jolla, but it's like the most stunning area ever with these crazy bazillion dollar houses. Like, how do I explain that to someone? No one will really get it. So I just kind of kept it to myself. Yeah.
Oh. It sounds like that's a moment that like kind of sticks with you, you know, having to answer that door and tell your family that. Like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was really hard. It's really hard. And even today, it's something that like still comes up for me and I work through. I mean, I think it's a huge reason as to why I am who I am. I'm a personal trainer. I'm tough. Like, I'm strong. I feel like everything has made me strong. And I've had to learn how to soften.
Yeah.
I've had to learn how to like feel the feelings, because for a long time, I just wouldn't. I'd be like, okay, let's go. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And like now I'm like, how long can you keep going for? Like there's a certain point where you'll collapse. And I learned that the hard way. I did collapse.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Well, we're obviously
We'll
going
get
to
into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're able to get out and you went to Sharfman's, which, that's probably incredible for you that you were able to just get away from that life.
Yeah. Yeah. It was so nice.
And what was that experience like going to, like at that time you're going to Sharfman's religiously?
Yeah.
What were you holding?
It's interesting because like I was wearing skirts because I was in San Diego and like I went to an Orthodox Jewish school. I was also wearing skirts because I wore whatever was given to me. Like I was wearing hand-me-downs,
Right.
But like this was the first time in my life where I was like, wait, I get to choose what I want to do, like what I want to wear, because like we can't really necessarily afford a whole outfit change, like a whole wardrobe change. But at the same time, like no one that I know is going to my seminary. I could be who I want to be. And so I remember the summer before Sharfman's, I went to Brandy Melville and I bought the cutest mini skirts. I didn't know it was like a frum seminary. So they just told me like, go to Sharfman's. And I was like, okay, I'm down. I understood it was like religious, but I didn't get like how religious. And I walk in with like my flip flops and mini skirt. And I'm like, wait, her skirt's down to the floor. And no one here is wearing flip-flops. Like, what is going on? And then some like Shana Olive girls came. I came in and it was like all Shana Betters. I kind of freaked out. And then I saw some Shana Olivers and I was like, okay, so I'm not alone. It's fine. But I realized I had to buy closed-toed shoes because that was like part of the uniform. But for the first time in my life, I actually, I chose it. I was like, I want this. I want to be here. I want to learn. I actually feel like I don't know anything because I kind of like goofed off in high school a lot to kind of cope. So I wasn't really paying attention. And I feel bad for all my teachers in high school. Whatever. But I wasn't like really focused. My main form of connecting was like davening to Hashem, crying, and NCSY. But I loved NCSY more for the social. But that was necessary. I needed that during that time, But when I went to Sharfman's, I was like, okay, I kind of want this.
Okay, so you're choosing for the first time in your life. You're choosing Yiddishkeit.
Yeah. So the first time I'm choosing Yiddishkeit, I'm kind of internalizing what they're saying. And I realized that I actually like this. So little by little, I started taking steps. And my skirts started getting longer. And I started davening with even more kavanah, which I didn't even know was possible. But it's funny, my friends would see me daven and be like, she's in a different world. Like, I don't know what planet you're on. Just like he was mamish right here, And it was a lot of just me asking Hashem for clarity. And I feel like he really gave it to me. And it was such a blessing. I made the most amazing friends. And I really feel like I really healed a lot. Sharfman's also an amazing, amazing thing they have is, or I don't know if they still have it, but they did in my days. They would offer any girl that wanted therapy. Any girl. And that was life-changing for me. And I couldn't afford it. And they're like, you'll pay us eventually. And I honestly don't even know what happened. I should probably ask them if I ever did. But yeah.
It's probably something they say to make sure that you don't even have to think about it, which is so nice.
It was so nice. And they sent me to this amazing therapist. It wasn't just like low level because you're not paying. It was like top therapist. And I healed tremendously. I would, come back on the bus home from therapy, write everything down in a journal. And I feel like I really processed and took in everything I was learning in seminary. And so I wanted to go back Shana Bet, and I did. Thank God Rabbi First was able to help me with that. And so I was there for 2 years, and that was such a blessing. Yeah.
Well, first of all, like shout out to Scharfman's, because like,
yeah,
I mean, everything sounds
seriously.
amazing, but the fact that they offer that therapy
I know.
is like, it
was
sounds like
wild.
it changed your life. It sounds like
It
it really
did.
like, yeah.
It got me to realize that I can do so much work and I'm not a product of my life, and I can be who I want to be. And I've changed tremendously over my time in Scharfman's. I feel like I honestly don't recognize that girl before Scharfman's. And I'm really grateful for that. Yeah.
Well, they're going to play this video at their next dinner. That's for sure. In the last 30 seconds for sure. You know?
Yeah, they should.
But you know what? Let's give them their flowers. You know, they deserve it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they should. Honestly, I hope more girls are able to grow from being at Scharfman's. I hope more and more people go, because it's a really amazing place.
And seminary in general, like it's a year that
Yeah.
people can really tap into some incredible growth. It doesn't just have to cost $30,000. You actually like gain from it too.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I feel like it's like you have to take it seriously though, like, or you just blew all of that.
Yeah, that's your message to girls going to seminary, like right now, right? Like,
I mean, the first few months, I was like confused and trying to enjoy life. I still kept by most of the rules, but like, I feel like I had to get to like Pesach, where I'm like, okay, we're buckling down. And I feel like most people go through that. But I would say, if I could give any advice to seminary girl, don't wait till Pesach, because if you're not coming back Shana Bet, like, you kind of wasted most of the year. Yeah. I would say, like, go in, like, serious. You have such an opportunity. You have incredible rabbis and rebbitzins at your disposal. Any woman, I feel like I speak to so many women right now that are like, God, I wish I had a mentor to talk to. You have that. So take advantage of it. Ask all your questions. Do all your healing, because I feel like that's the time to do it. Yeah. Such a powerful time.
100%.
Yeah.
So what was Shana Bet like? Any life-changing action happening that your second year in Israel?
Yeah, I met my husband Shana Bet.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
That was pretty wild. Yeah. After Pesach, my friend was at a Shabbos meal. My two friends, Adi and Sorna, they were my Shana Olifers. I was learning with Adi at the time, and we got to know each other pretty well. And I guess she knew, like, she just had a feeling of what I needed. I don't know. And she was at a Shabbos meal with him, which that story in itself is just hashgacha pratis, because she wasn't supposed to be there, but whatever, she was. And she met him, and my mother-in-law, she's going to hate me for saying this, but she was like always trying to get my husband's number out. She was like, I'm going to find my son a girl. So they'd go to all these restaurants, and she'd write his number on the, on the check. And so she saw these cute girls at a Shabbos meal, and she's like, talk to them. My husband's like, I'm at a Shabbos meal. Like, can you leave me alone? And so she was like basically pretty persistent. And so my friend was like, listen, she's from Lakewood. She's like, I'm looking for a Lakewood guy. Like, this isn't for me, but I think I know of someone that might be good for you. And so she told me, she was like, I think I found your person, but like, I don't know, but like, I think he's the one. I was like, okay, fine. I'll try it out. I had 2 not so great experiences with dating beforehand. Like 2 shidduch dates that were like kind of, they didn't do enough research. It was not great.
They didn't do enough research into you, or you didn't?
Into him. Like I had told my Rebbitzins, can you do research? And he shows up with a purple glittered car that he glittered himself. And I think you get
that's unique. Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So
where was this guy's, I mean, this soon to be husband?
Yeah.
Where's his family from? Where is he from?
So he's from Chicago, and he went through his whole life journey and ended up in Israel. He was actually teaching in a yeshiva called Avas Chaim. I don't know if you know of it, but when Ner J closed down, they opened up a yeshiva for, guys that could use a little more attention. And so my husband started off going there, and then he became a madrich, and then he ended up teaching after a few years. So he was at a meal, basically 80 was doing chesed by Hadassah Bamberger, and her husband worked with my husband in yeshiva. So yeah, she was at that meal, and basically when I found out he was a teacher in a yeshiva, I was like, sign me up. I just thought it was so cool because I didn't know so much, but I was really getting into it, and I thought Kiruv was really cool. So I was like, okay, this is cool. I'm into it. So yeah, we went on our first date. We went to the Shuk, and he took me to all the good spots. And that was just like, okay, this guy, I'm a foodie. He's a foodie. We had really good conversation. We lasted all day. So we started off at ice cream, ended off at fish and chips, and it was like I was really comfortable spending that many hours talking to him. I just kind of had this feeling. So on my walk back from the Shuk, from the bus stop, whatever, I had to walk to my Sem. After I got off the bus, I ran into my teacher, and I told her, I was like, I found the guy I'm marrying. She was like, what? Yeah, he's the one. Took him a little longer.
After one date, that's very yeshivish of you.
I know. I was shocked at myself. But I just had this feeling of comfort and calm, and I just knew. So yeah. And then
this is your story of hope, I guess.
Yeah. Honestly though, it was such a hopeful experience for me because shidduch dating as a Baal Tshuva, it's a pretty wild concept. And he just made it so normal. We both didn't have resumes. It was basically a blind date. And it was it was not complicated at all. So I was really grateful that it just happened so effortlessly. It was like Hashem knew that I probably wouldn't have been able to handle all this intensity with shidduchim. I feel like even now I still feel like I'm a fresh Baal Tshuva. I don't know if I would have really fit into that system so well. And it just worked out so beautifully. Yeah, thank God.
Was he also a Baal Tshuva?
Kind of. Yeah. His parents were traditional. He went to Ida Crown, so
yeah.
He was religious to a certain extent, but I feel like he also went through his journey where he chose it. He went to University of Maryland. He went to yeshiva. He didn't last too long there. Went to University of Maryland. And then he woke up and realized that it was just not for him. And he went back to Israel, and he did a lot of self-work. He actually got smicha, which was wild because he had long hair. My husband had hair down to here, and they gave him an upsharon. And yeah, it was he went through his own journey. So I felt even though he knew more than me, we connected because we understood each other in that way,
Yeah, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's so nice. So how many dates did he, until you actually got engaged?
I don't know how many dates because, it was kind of an adrenaline, and I feel like it was kind of a blur.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it took a month.
Okay.
I think 1 month, and it wasn't enough dates where I was I know everything about this person, but I just had this feeling. I'm I think it's going to be good. And we had to make a decision because seminary was ending. I was going to go to California. He was going to go to the Catskills. And it was like, are we staying together or are we breaking up?
Yeah.
But I was like, if we're staying together, I'm not doing this long distance thing. And just we're getting engaged. So his rabbis were like, you're not going to find anyone else like her. Just do it. And he was scared, but he did it. And
That's so nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then you guys got engaged. And then what? Where'd you guys go? Catskills or California?
So we did long distance, which was hard. It was really hard.
You weren't going to do that.
I know, but we ended up doing it because I had a ring on my finger and I was like, okay, I feel comfy. So yeah. I remember like the 2 weeks before our wedding, it was just hard because I feel like there's all these little details. No one talks about how hard the pre and post like wedding time is. I didn't know how hard it would be making plans to get married in Israel from the United States. And like we decided we were going to live there. So I was bugging out about different things. Like we couldn't find an apartment and whatever. And so I told him like 2 weeks before the wedding, I'll see you at the aisle. Like, I think we're good talking. Like we don't have to do this anymore. And so we just showed up at the aisle, after not talking for 2 weeks. And it was scary, but also I think we both knew that it's normal to struggle, and to have, disagreements. And I'm grateful because I feel like it wasn't something that deterred us from getting married, and we got married, and yeah, it was good.
Why the 2 weeks of no talking?
I just was like, we keep fighting. So what's the point, like, of just talking and fighting? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? We love each other.
Scary though. Right.
Yeah, it was scary, but I had this clarity of like, we love each other. Let him be. Let him do what he needs to do. He's under a lot of stress, like work-wise, and I'm just bugging out about everything. Just like there's no point. Sometimes you need to give space. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that some people are really afraid of space because they think that, it means, they get insecure about it, they're afraid of what that means. But for me, I was so sure that Hashem orchestrated this for a reason. And it wasn't like it was crazy fights. There were normal little fights, like disagreements, even not even fighting, just like little things that just like it's stressful. So I felt like it was the right thing to do, to kind of give ourselves a little bit of space. And when you give space and then you come back together with that space, you're like able to really fully give to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear that. Like, I guess all that pettiness you're in the moment of planning a wedding, which is really stressful. And I don't even know who's paying for this thing. Like,
my parents were like having a hard time with that. My mother-in-law did pay for a good amount of it, and my parents did what they could. And
So but it's a very stressful. Listen, it's a very stressful period of time, and listen, you did what worked for you. It's not. There's no playbook. Like, everyone has to do what works for them in this situation.
Yeah, I felt like part of me thinks that like, why am I saying this? Like, this is I shouldn't. Like, I feel like this is unnecessary to say, but the other part of me is like, I feel like there's got to be someone out there who is struggling, during their engagement or right after marriage, and they might feel alone. And I just want people to realize that it's normal to have a hard time during like one of the biggest moments of your life. Like, the Yetzer Hara is going to come in a lot of ways and try to take away from how special this time is. But also it's normal to be stressed out. And I think that, I think that it's important to say that it's okay to feel like after marriage. Also, I felt like there was so much, like, you're this person with this whole life and baggage, and he's this person with this whole life and baggage too. And you're coming together And now you're supposed to just make it work. Like there's no like rule, like guidebook, you know, no one like teaches you how to do this. So I think it's normal that it takes work. And I think that a lot of people are afraid of that work, and they think that that's a bad thing, but it's not. You grow even closer that way, you know?
It shapes and forms the entire relationship that you end up having.
Yeah. And I think even after that, throughout your entire life, marriage is a lot of work. You have to keep working at it. You can't just think that, okay, so we sorted this out. That's it. We're good. Like, it's a constant avoda. That's what it is. It's a constant avoda. You constantly have to improve yourself, because the second that you have reached a level, something else is going to come up, and you're going to have to rise even more. That's how it works, you know? Yeah.
For sure.
This episode is sponsored by my friends at Lalechet. Yes. Build your trip right now at lalechet.com. Don't want to be busy building your trip? No problem. You can go on one of their upcoming trips. Hong Kong, Morocco, Oman. You take your choice. They arrange these incredible trips with personalities like Rabbi Daniel Gladstein, Chani Gottlieb, Rabbi Nachman Seltzer. Yeah, go to Hong Kong with Rabbi Nachman Seltzer in November. Like, that would be a lot of fun. Or let's say you're a Gabi of a shul and you say, hey, I want to take my entire kahila, and we're a shul in Deal, and we want to go to, I don't know, Morocco, and go for it. Build your trip. Head to lalechet.com and they can take care of everything from A to Z. Trust them and you will go far. Lalechet.com. Reach out to them today and you will not regret it. Have a safe trip. We'll be right back to this episode. A quick word to my friends at townappliance.com. You head to the website right now, townappliance.com, and you can get $25 off. Simple. Just head to the website and you'll see a prompt come up. Simple as that. Let me tell you, friends, summer is coming to a close. You get a new clothing for your kids. You get a new appliances for your house. And that's where Town Appliance comes in. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Head to townappliance.com right now. Savings are happening all year. You don't want to miss out. Townappliance.com. Ever since 1979, they've been the number one choice for everybody. And they understand you. They're from community. So head to townappliance.com, or you can shoot them a message on WhatsApp. How cool is that? Townappliance.com, or shoot them a message on WhatsApp. The link in the show notes. Now back to this episode.
I guess you guys got married and you lived in Israel for a little bit.
Yeah. So we lived in Israel. Fresh Bal Tshuva in Ramat Eshkol was pretty intense for me, but his yeshiva was on Midbar Sinai in Givat HaMiftar. So we were living in Givat HaMiftar, but basically went into Ramat Eshkol for everything. And it was intense for me. We traveled a lot to get out. I didn't appreciate it enough, and that was part of my experience. But yeah, we traveled a lot, and eventually, I was like, okay, I actually need to get out, and I don't know why. I think I was just like so overwhelmed by just like how intense it was, and how much like I was struggling, like going from like never doing Shabbos to now I'm supposed to, you know, upkeep a household, and like I'm having yeshiva guys over, and like I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm burning things. Like it's I don't know. People are like, you know, pushing their babies down Paran, and I'm like so not ready for that. I was just like, I need to get out. And I didn't think about going anywhere else in Israel. I just wanted to go back to the US because I felt comfortable there. The language, like I grew up there. I just like, I need to get out. So we moved back to the US. We moved to Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah. I was just like, I wanted a small but big community. I felt like that gave that to me. And for me, East Coast was just not in the cards. I'm like not an East Coast
like
type.
You guys just picked Atlanta off a map. Was there like something there that drew you there? Or?
Yeah, I was just like, people keep talking about it. I don't know. We'll
that's so
try
cool.
it out.
That's so cool. Yeah, why not Atlanta?
Yeah, I don't think we even checked it out. Did we?
Rabbi Dave Silverman?
Well, actually, we did check it out, but I think once we did check it out, actually. We went to, Rabbi Dave Silverman.
He's the man.
Yeah, and Rebecca Silverman, who is a different Silverman, but I met her and I was like, she's an angel. If everyone is like this, sign me up. Like, love this place because we stayed by her, and they even went away and like they just let us stay in their house. Like they're just the nicest people. So we were like, okay, this is cool. Like what is it? Southern hospitality. It felt like I'm not in the middle of nowhere. There's still kosher things, but like this is cool. So we lived there for 4 years. And that's really where I developed a lot. Like I think I really grew up there. I had my daughter Eliana and my son Kalev in Atlanta. And we also started a shul in Atlanta called the Chevra. It was a Carlebach shul. Yeah. I just felt like I needed something. Like I felt like I was missing parts of Israel. Like every Friday night I would go to the Carlebach Minyan when I was married. And it was something that like really, it left such an imprint in my heart. It was the most powerful Geschmack minyan. Like there was nothing like that minyan. And it's not around anymore, but it was the best. I've been to a few Carlebach minyans. It was the best Carlebach minyan I've ever been to. And so
the one in Israel?
The one in Ramat Eshkol, out of these people's house. And then it moved to like they stopped having it in their home and some other people took over and I think it's in a school or something somewhere. But yeah, it's not the same. It's fine. It's still a good minyan, but like, I don't know. There was this energy. You walk into the house, everyone's like jumping. It was this like powerful energy. And I was like, I need this in the US. This is something that's lacking here. And Baruch Hashem, there was beautiful shuls in Atlanta, but I honestly felt like I needed that for myself. And selfishly, I was like, I'm willing to start this so that I can feel every Friday night that I have like a real connection to Hashem. I just wasn't feeling it. It was my own thing. And yeah, so we started that shul.
That's cool.
And it became,
you mentioned daughter Eliana and son Kalev.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't hear a lot of boys named Kalev out there. What was
really?
The choice? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Not that I know.
I thought it was a cool name. I feel like my husband and I are like that. We're just like,
it was off the cuff. It's like Kalev Ben Yifuna, like.
Yeah. Also, I liked who Kalev was in the Torah. He was a good guy. He was very positive. And I feel like I really try to be a positive person. So I was like, this guy gives me good vibes. And he's different. And I feel like we're different. I like different. So I felt like it was a cool name.
That's great. That's the coolest thing about like Bali Tshuva. It's just like, you guys are very intentional with every decision you make. It's like, no, we're doing this because like, we're not going to just name our kid Moshe or Avram or Chaim Yankel or no. Yeah. We connected to this figure and this. Yeah. It's really cool.
His middle name is Yitzchak. And my husband originally wanted to call him Yitzchak as his first name. And I was like, nah, it's not it. Like, I love Yitzchak name. Like, it's a beautiful name, but like, it's not us, you know? So we made it his middle name.
What's the nickname for Kalev?
There's no nickname.
There's no nickname for Kalev?
Just Kalev. Yeah. Now in Israel, it's actually a funny name in Israel. Like, people get it confused and they're like, Ma? Kalev? Like, what?
Yeah.
So I didn't know I'd live in Israel. Right, I still think it's a cool name. Yeah.
Let's talk about, I guess, how you ended up there. So you had Kalev. You're living in Atlanta, the Chevra. Things are cool. What happened after that?
So from the outside, it looked like life was good. Like no one would have known that I was struggling the way I was. We had this stunning house. We had crazy meals with people over. Like, I feel like our Shabbos meal experience was like, the norm was like 20 people at our Suda, like usual for us. And I loved it. I loved hosting. I loved giving, but it was also really hard because we didn't really have the finances to back that up. And Baruch Hashem, we started the show with my best friend, Levana, and her husband, Psachia Futterman. We started the show with them and also Chesky, and his wife were very involved as well in Atlanta. But then Psachia's father passed away and he had to go through his own process. And I totally respected that. but it was hard for me because I felt like, okay, so now we have a lot more responsibility, and I have little kids. I'm not managing as is. I just felt like there was a lot of things with my kids that were hard, and I love them to pieces. But like my postpartum with Eliana was rough. I couldn't breastfeed her, so I pumped for an entire year, and I felt like I had no life for that entire year, and I was definitely depressed, and I was struggling. And then I finally started to find myself once I after that year. But then I had Colel, and like I got pregnant with Colel, and I felt like it was hard. I was feeling some pains during pregnancy. Thank God, like compared to other people, my pregnancy was so good. I worked out my entire pregnancy. I'm grateful, but still, I'm used to being the strong personal trainer who, and it was hard for me, like managing a shul while pregnant and working full time, like really full time, morning, like throughout the day and at night. I remember I'd end work at 10 p.m. I don't know. It was just, I feel like I was really struggling. Like we didn't have help with cleaning, like with the minion. So I was like, I'd give everything into cleaning up the house for the minion to look nice. And then like people would leave and I'd clean up that. And like, I just felt like I was constantly cleaning, constantly like working, constantly I was always busy and taking care of a lot of things. And I felt like I was kind of struggling inside, and no one really knew that other than my friend Lavana. It looked like from the outside in that we had everything together, and we didn't. We were just trying our best. We were trying so hard because we loved giving. We loved the shul. We loved the people. Right? It was in our house. Yeah.
Okay.
So like every Friday night, I'd have tons of people in my house, and I loved it. But like after I had Colel, it was hard. Like my Shalom Zacher was at my house with tons of people. I cleaned up my Shalom Zacher. I was not well, and I was cleaning up after everyone. I had my bris at my house, and it was the most beautiful bris ever. But like there were hundreds of people in my house, and I just felt like I had no space, and I honestly would not trade it for the world. But at the same time, I was having a hard time, and I couldn't deny it. But I felt like, well, who am I to like complain? I have such a beautiful life. So I kept just like shoving down these feelings of like, I'm struggling, like shove it down. You're fine. Look at your life. It's beautiful. You have 2 healthy, gorgeous children. You're busy at work doing a profession that you love. Like your husband is so supportive and so inspiring and helping so many people. And like you guys are living in this gorgeous house. Like what do you have to complain about? But I felt like I couldn't keep up. Parties in our house all the time. Like it was just really hard. So I started kind of suppressing my emotions. And then one night my daughter got sick. She had the flu. And she was also really struggling after I had my son, because she was an only child for 2.5 years. And I guess she got used to that. She would like scream all night till 6 a.m. We had some really rough nights. And I remember that she got sick, probably because she wasn't sleeping enough or who knows. And I slept with her because we were like transitioning her into bed. It was a crazy time to do that, but we didn't really have a choice because she was like jumping out of her crib. So I slept with her in this queen bed, and I got sick the next morning from her. And I just went to see what was up. It was the flu. I was like, okay, it's the flu. It's fine. But then by nighttime, I wasn't fine. And that was when I think everything came out. Like everything I've been suppressing came out. My body shut down. I guess, do we get into this part now? Like,
I mean, when you say everything, is it everything from your entire life? Is it everything from the last couple of years, the busyness? Because it sounds like there's a whole lot that just came to the forefront and your body just couldn't fight it.
I think it was a lot. It was my whole life. It was all those I think I did a lot of therapy in Sharfman's, but there's always more work to do. And I did suppress a lot of things that were too painful for me to deal with. And being a new mom and just like a lot was coming up for me. And being also kind of a role in the community, I would say, I did feel a massive responsibility, and I was truly humbled and grateful. But at the same time, I had all these different emotions of whatever, different stuff I had been through just coming up for me. Yeah.
And then there's the postpartum thing, which is like, we did an episode on postpartum with Elke Pollack from Tikva Seinu, like an incredible organization that is helping so many women. And it's so common. It's 1 in 6, I think, the number of people who experience, postpartum depression and just postpartum just struggles, anxiety and stuff like that. And it's got to be spoken about more. It's got to be like out in the open, that people don't have to suppress that and hide it, because it's just not gonna put you in a better place. It's not gonna be good for your family, for yourself, for your kids. People
don't talk about it enough. People try to go through it alone. And I think it's really unfortunate, because a lot of people are really struggling in silence.
You tried, right?
Yeah, I definitely struggled, and I definitely tried. I tried as best as I could to, get out of it. But I also feel like I didn't even fully understand the extent of how much I was struggling, because I do this thing where I'm in denial. Like, that's my go-to for coping. Just like either shove down or go into denial. I feel like I was doing a lot of that. So it was just a very confusing time.
Well, that's
and
the
a lot
coping
just
mechanism,
came up
like
for me.
the way you had to grow up, like that, you had to survive somehow.
Yeah. And I think that, like when you are trying to be so strong and trying to keep it together for the family, just like I had to when I was a kid, things come up for you, and you just, you're afraid to break down. Because when I was in high school, if I would have broken down, I honestly don't know if I would have been able to get myself back up. It was it was too much. But I felt like I can't break down. I can't do that. I'm an adult now. Like, I have to keep it together for my family, for my kids, for my husband. Like, I have to. But I was so not okay. And I felt like my problems are so small. Like, what do you mean? It's just trauma. It's just this. It's just that. But like, it doesn't matter what you're going through, whether you feel like it's big or small. These are valid feelings, and you need to validate them, or they come out another way.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Like, it doesn't just disappear in the midair. It goes somewhere, and you don't necessarily get to choose when and how or where that it comes to a head. And it sounds like for you, it was happening in this moment. You had gotten the flu, and you were sick, and people could say, oh, well, the flu is the flu, but it wasn't just, it's not what happened with you.
No.
So I guess tell us what happened.
So basically, I thought I had the flu, and I was fine-ish. It's the flu, whatever. But then as nighttime rolled around, I started feeling like really unwell. And a few months back, I just gave birth naturally. I also I deadlift my own weight. Like, I'm pretty tough. Like, I know how to deal with pain. I used to not, but I developed into someone who really could. And when I started feeling that I feel really, really unwell, like, I felt like labor was nothing compared to this. It alarmed me, because I'm like, this has got to be bad, but I also am really tough, so I don't understand the full extent of like what's happening here. So I just kind of tried to just keep doing what I needed to do. My son was a baby. My daughter was not managing. It's just the adjustment was a lot. And I remember it was bedtime, and I started really not feeling well. I started feeling really dizzy. and I started having to like vomit. And I told my husband, I'm like, I can't help you. I'm really unwell. He's like, okay, why don't you go to bed? Like, you'll be fine. You'll sleep it off. I remember just like feeling like I couldn't, I was scared to go to bed. Thank God I had this feeling in me that I was scared to go to bed. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse. I started getting to the point where like my husband was putting the kids to sleep and I was on the couch and I was like, I need a puke, I need water, I need whatever. And like, I couldn't move. Like I couldn't stand up. I would tell my brain like, Kate, get up. And I couldn't. Like I tried to move my hand. I was like, okay, move. It wouldn't move. It's the trippiest feeling when your brain is working, but your body is not. And so I remember like getting like the strength. Mamish had to like work so hard because the world was spinning in front of me. I was like, to get my phone out. And I didn't know who to message because I couldn't like see straight. So I remember like one of the first things on my phone, like the chats, it was just like this WhatsApp chat, these Atlanta women WhatsApp chat. I remember writing on the chat, like all I could write because I like was really struggling to write. I wrote, I think I'm dying. And I remember just like reading the messages like, go to the ER, go to the doctor, whatever. I'm like, I was like, in my head, like, I can't move. I don't know how I'm going to do this. And so I wrote, I'm dying. I wrote, like, I'm dying. And thank God this one woman believed me, took me seriously. And she sent over a nurse this woman was an angel. I mean, to send over like a private nurse was like a ton of money. And she was just like, she just trusted me that I was not lying. And she sent over this nurse and she did all these things to check how I was. I don't know. And she looked at my husband and she was like, your wife is dying. Like, you have to get her to the hospital. You have maybe an hour. And I was nursing exclusively at that point. My son didn't know how to take a bottle. I'm like, I'm not leaving this kid. Like, so I'm screaming, like, bring me my son. I'm trying to nurse him. They thought I was crazy, but it was like kind of like my last wishes, but not, cause thank God I made it. But I was like, I need to nurse my son. I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I need to nurse my son. And I'm nursing him. And like, I hear out of the like corner of my ear, like, her levels are going down. Like, her nursing her son is killing her. We need to get her to a hospital now. So they like ripped my son off of me, threw me in a car. And that night was like such a blur because my husband had to go back with the kids. I was on my own. And I was like, basically at that point when I got to the hospital, they're asking me questions and I couldn't even move my head. I couldn't move anything. So my eyes, like, I tried to move my head a little bit to respond to things. That's all I could do. I had no ability to speak up for myself. And so they took me to the ICU and thank God, they were able to help me, but it was a long process. I was really unwell. I got pneumonia, ended up being, which is why I couldn't breathe. I wasn't getting oxygen and why everything started shutting down. But yeah, I was really sick. So
how long were you in the ICU for?
So I was in the ICU for 9 days. After that, I was supposed to be in the regular hospital for longer, but I fought to get out. The ICU, even though it was really rough, like, the care was amazing, and yeah, I had constant watch 24/7. I couldn't do anything by myself. So I had someone there all the time, in and out. People were coming in and out. And even though it was hard, because like I felt like I was like not able to sleep because every 5 seconds they're checking on you, whatever. At the same time, I was so grateful I had all that help. But then after, they're like, okay, I was begging to go down to the regular hospital because I just wanted a shower. You can't shower for 9 days. You're disgusting. So I just wanted to shower. That's all I wanted. So they're like, okay, you're good enough. Like, we'll send you down to the regular hospital. But I had no idea that it would be so bad. The care there was so bad. No one was ever around. So I opted out and had to sign all this stuff and whatever. But yeah, so I was there for 9 days. But yeah, I didn't stay for longer, which made the healing process really hard because I had to heal at home without morphine, without really crazy drugs helping me. I had to really feel the pain. And it was brutal. It was really, really intense.
Was there a moment like you were like in the ICU, maybe right when you got there, you're like, oh, like I might not make it. Like, this is pretty crazy. What's going on?
Yeah. At first I was in a daze because, yeah, you're kind of just like watching everything happen in front of you and you have no ability, no control, like for anything. Like, you're just there and they're just doing everything. So beginning I was in a daze, and then after it kind of hit me, like what's happening? And I wasn't getting better in the beginning. I finally was able to like start talking and feeling better. And so I was able to speak up for myself. I think it was day 5. I was like, this is not okay that I've been in the ICU for 5 days and I feel really awful still. Like, what is going on? You're giving me all this medication. I don't think it's working. And they're like, it's probably working, like, whatever. I was like, no. I need another CAT scan, X-ray, like, whatever. And they did that and found that the stuff wasn't working. So they had to put me on other meds and whatever. So when I felt that I wasn't improving, I was definitely scared. I'm like, what's happening? What's going on with me? Also, like, I couldn't eat anything really. People were making me like soups and it was so sweet. But half of the time I couldn't even have soup. I couldn't have liquid. Water was too much for me. So that was scary for me. Like, am I ever going to be able to eat normally again? Am I ever going to be able to, like, I remember asking this doctor, like, will I be able to deadlift again? He's like, don't worry. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But it was scary going from like being strong and like, yeah, like even like throughout my pregnancies, I worked out, postpartum, I worked out, like, and then like going from like being strong to like the next day, not being able to walk, not being able to sit upright. Like I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything. Like, it was a very humbling experience. Yeah.
I recently just interviewed someone. It didn't come out yet though, but they went through a real trauma, tragedy in their life. And I would say it's a similar experience to what you're describing right now, where they all of a sudden like could not breathe. And they went to a doctor, they went to the hospital, and she was also in very, very bad shape. Lungs were filled with water, this, that, a whole lot was going on. And
yeah.
And it all stemmed from this trauma that she had gone through. It was kind of like a broken heart that literally was breaking her.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to what you're describing. How much do you think of what you went through was physical, and how much of it was like maybe set off by all this baggage that was coming to the forefront in your life?
Yeah. So there was one night I was in the ICU. It's wild because I just want to also add this in. Like, I actually dreamt that this would happen to me. Like, we were in the process of like setting everything up to move to Dallas. And like, I had a dream that this happened to me. And I woke up and I was like, oh God, this cannot happen. Like, this can't happen. And then it did.
Wait, you were planning on moving to Dallas? What do you mean? You're planning on moving to Dallas?
Basically, we were moving. We were in Atlanta. I was like really struggling. I decided I need to get out of here. We're moving to Dallas. And I think all of the guilt of like leaving Atlanta and whatever triggered some weird dreams. And I had a dream that as we were leaving Atlanta, I got really, really sick and ended up in the ICU and had to deal with all my stuff. I kid you not. I dreamt that. I woke up. I was like, nah, that was just a bad dream. So I actually dreamt this moment. I was in the ICU at night. My friend Lavana, who was literally an angel. She's my best friend in the world, and she's seen me through everything. And she came to me in the hospital. And I say that because I think if anyone would have said this to me, I don't think I would have taken it so well. But the fact that she said this to me, I trust her with my life. I took it to heart. She looked at me and I was just like, I'm a mess. And she was like, when are you going to start dealing with everything that you've been suppressing? Because it's coming out now. And you know that. And that was a huge moment for me. Because for the first time in my life, I couldn't blame anyone but myself. I felt like there were moments in my life where, I went through my period where when I was struggling financially, I was angry at God. I was blaming him for the life I had. And, the relationship definitely improved after that, but there was still a lot of hurt, a lot of betrayal, and a lot of pain with that. And I just felt like I had this image of God in which I would talk to him and cry to him and connect with him on the deepest of levels. But I also still had a little bit of that feeling of betrayal that just stuck with me. And we had a lot of different instances where we were getting sick, like got COVID twice, different things. I was getting sick, which should have been a sign to me, hello, something's off. But I just kept getting so angry at God, being like, God, why are you doing this to me? Why do you keep getting me sick? And it's interesting because we always had the minion in our house, but whenever I would get sick, they weren't there. And it was the only time I actually had to light candles in peace, without, tons of people, because my candles were right by where they davened. It's just the only spot where we could have them. And so I would just yell at God, just full out. I wasn't accepting of anything that would come to me when it was hard. When it was good, I would thank God. When it was hard, I would just get so angry and feel like you don't love me fully. I felt like there were parts that loved me and then parts where I was like, but if you fully loved me, you'd get me out of these hardships. Why do I struggle so much? Yeah. So I think that moment in the hospital, I was like, you have to accept everything that comes to you. Your anger is destroying you. Your pushing things down is destroying you. Your pain that you're suppressing, it's not doing anything for you. So you have to shift, because otherwise God knows how you're going to make it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a big moment.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
So you guys went to Dallas.
So yeah, we had, thank God, so much help from the community. I feel like the story of my life is community's helping me out, but I'm grateful. The Atlanta community was seriously no other. The Esreichers, who, I don't know, I feel like most people in the world know them. They're literally the most special people in the world. And anyone that knows them says that the Esreichers have changed their life. They would send over their daughters or have my daughters come to their house and just, have my kids over. My friend Lavana took my kids too. They basically lived between both of those houses. And we had people pack up our stuff. These two guys, Mayor and Nathaniel, packed up our stuff. We had people making us meals. I was on a meal train, people davening for me. And somehow everything just got packed up and yeah, we moved. We moved while I was like recovering.
Wow.
Like 3 days after I was able to like walk decently well, like, cause I couldn't really hold myself upright. I was like this cause I had no strength. Like when I was finally able to walk, I had to like relearn how to walk in the hospital. It was a whole thing. 3 days after that, once I started doing a little better, my husband and me and my 2 kids moved. We had no choice. People were taking over the house. Like we had a deadline, so we had to get out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that.
I guess let's, as we wind down, let's bring our listeners and our viewers to current day. You don't live in Dallas, right?
We don't live in Dallas anymore.
So tell me,
6 months in, we realized it wasn't for us. It's a beautiful community. It just wasn't for us. We were like, trying to figure out where our next step was. But yeah, we didn't know. We were open and thinking about different options. We went to check out Florida actually. But during that Dallas year, I did a lot of self-reflecting because it was more than just about like where I wanted to be. It was also like, who am I? Like, I just went through this extremely traumatic experience. And I guess I felt like I did a Sudas Hoda, and some people knew what I went through, but I don't think anyone fully understood the extent of what I went through, and how I was still in it. Like, I put on hair, like sheitel and makeup. And so you don't know, like, how sick someone is. You don't know that I just lost 15 pounds in a week. You don't know, like, that I haven't been able to eat properly in months. Like, it was hard because I just wanted to feel normal because I was so triggered. Anytime anyone would ask me in Atlanta how I was doing, it just brought the trauma back up. I was like, I want to pretend everything is fine because I actually am not okay. And I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. Again, the suppressing, and denying and all that kind of coming back. For me, it was my natural way of coping. So going to a new place, I wanted to just be a new person. I just wanted to like have friends. And since I wasn't well enough to be a trainer, because you have to have a lot of strength to train people, you're lifting weights and whatever. I was just a stay-at-home mom for a little bit. And then I ended up putting Kalev into Gan, which was a big step for me. So then I was just like cleaning my house, like chilling. So I would try to like meet up with friends, try to pretend my life was normal. And quickly realize that I can't do that anymore. Like 6 months in, I think everything kind of like shattered and I was like, okay, this is not me. This place is not for us. I don't know who I am because I've gone through this crazy trauma and haven't let myself feel anything. And I just feel like confused. And so I started doing, thanks to Levana, she introduced me to IFS therapy. I did self-therapy. Like the book is self-therapy. So I did it on myself in the beginning and also, started listening to, Shar Bitachon Shears, and Gedali Fenster. Cause I had all the time. I was just like cleaning my house. Like, what else are you doing? So I would clean while listening to podcasts and Shears and all that. And at that point I was so serious about figuring myself out. I just went all in, healing journey. Let's go. So I really did the work and I really like let myself feel everything that came up for me. And it was really intense at the beginning. But I learned to validate myself with emotions. I learned to cry. I was not crying a lot during my ICU experience. I was really, really struggling during that time. My healing, like my recovery journey was brutal. And I was in the most pain I've ever been in my entire life. And I honestly, like, I didn't know how to get out of it. Like physically, like I felt like there was hell in my body and I did not know how I would survive months of that pain. So I would just like think about how to end this. Think about like, you know, maybe if I just end this, then I won't feel this pain. I was just trying to look for a way out. I never let myself cry. I never let myself feel. I didn't want to feel anything. I just wanted out. But I couldn't. It was all consuming. It was too much for me. And eventually I broke down. In Atlanta, I broke down and I realized that if I want to make it for my kids' next birthdays, I need to change my attitude. But it was this like cycle of like breaking, you know, trying to change myself to feel and accept and change, but then going back to my old habits of denial and suppressing and escaping. And it was like this push and pull. And I think that in Dallas, I decided I'm done playing tug of war. And I just like surrendered. I just fully surrendered. And it was I don't even know how to explain something so crazy, like years and years of your entire life, just then surrendering all of that and being like, God, I trust you. And I know that you're taking care of me. And just me feeling all the feelings and validating them. So that's the IFS work. Being curious about, you know, that little girl inside of me, or different little versions of me inside of me, and all the pain that those versions of me have been through. So that's like the IFS work, but then also like doing the Shar Bitachon work. So like the trusting and surrendering and letting go. And so basically through that work, I started to really find myself and really started to like not be afraid of the next chapter. And I started to really like lean into who I am. I'm a strong person, but I'm strong not because I'm just putting on this front. I'm strong because I've been through a lot, but I'm choosing to feel in this moment. I'm choosing to embrace everything that comes my way. I'm choosing to heal. And then October 7th happened. And that was a pivotal moment for me where all of the work that I had been doing kind of like came to a head, where I was like, we need to move to Israel. I need to face my fears, because we left Israel and I left on a low, like super triggered, because I was like feeling not worthy of like being in Ramat Eshkol when I felt like not from enough. I felt not good enough. It brought a lot of trauma from my childhood of me not feeling good enough. Like we left on a low. And then like me choosing, I'm going back into that. Also terrifying because it's a war. And like, I think everyone, hopefully not everyone, but most people saw the actual images of like what was happening on October 7th. So like choosing to go into that was really, really terrifying. But I just leaned in. I listened to Shar Bitachon every single day as I packed up my life. I told my husband, so October 7th happened. October 17th, I emailed the school that I wanted my daughter to get into. I was like, hi, I want to move to Israel. I'm interested in your school. I've heard good things about it. It's a Beis Yaakov. I'm a Baal Tshuva. And like, I don't wear tights and I have a long sheitel, but like, I'm a growing person. Will you take me? And I didn't realize that was like such a crazy thing to do, like in Israel. So they just laughed and they're like, okay, let's have an interview. And she got in, which for this school, it's hard to get into. And also the middle of the year, like they said they don't accept anyone in the middle of the year, but since we're making Aliyah, they'll do it. And it was such a like confirmation from Hashem that this is exactly what we need to be doing. So we got the "You're accepted" email, I think November 17th. And then we left Dallas in December. So I had like 1 month to pack up everything. And my husband looked at me. He was like, we could move in the summer, you know? And I was like, but our lease ends December. Like, what are we going to do for those few months? He's like, I could ask him to extend. I don't know. We could figure it out. I was like, nah, I have this moment of clarity now. And I'm like that also. Like I started like me and my friends started the show. I was like, we're starting the show. And this guy was like, you don't do that. I was like, no, but we're doing it. I'm like that. Right. I'm just like, if I have an idea, I go after it. I decided to start an Instagram. I'm like, now, like recently, I was just like, I'm doing it. And I did it and it's been growing. Thank God. I just like feel like once I have an idea, I go for it. So my husband was like, that's cute that you think we'll move everything out of here in 1 month. Also, we just moved from Atlanta. Like we haven't even been here for a year. I was just like, yeah, it's okay. We'll figure it out. I literally I leaned on Hashem and we did it. Mamish, like Hashem worked everything out. This guy, Tyler, like was just like, do you want me to bring suitcases for you? I'm going to Israel. I'm like, yes, you're an angel. Like everything. I was just like, Hashem, I'm leaning on you. Like you're giving me confirmation that this is the right thing to do. Make it smooth. Like keep giving me clarity that this is what we need to do. And he did. He like showed up and we're here. And it's been actual bliss, which is so crazy because it was like, I feel like I was in such a different place back then. And now, like life is so sweet. Life is so beautiful. Living in Israel is the biggest gift in the world. And you're surrounded by the most incredible people. And especially being here during a war is like the most amazing thing because we all just like, I feel like we're one. And it brought my emunah to places that I didn't even know it could be. The amount of surrendering I've done since moving here was like, you have to literally give it all up to live here in a certain sense. Cause like you're going to come and things will work out easily sometimes like to get here. And then you come here and it's like challenge. And it's like, it's been the biggest gift because it's really shaped me and allowed me to grow into who I am today. And now I feel like we're at a point where we're living it up and it's such a blessing. There's always work.
Yeah, well, that's amazing, and I can't wait for everyone to hear this, which is going to be pretty soon. I want to do. We have 5 more minutes because the studio's, where you are is they have a schedule, I guess. But we have 5 more minutes, which we're going to do 5 rapid fire type questions for Meaningful Minute Plus members. So if you're not a member, you can come on right now. If you're not, this is where the episode ends. So.
I just want to end with. I don't want this story to just be about me. Like I really just want this to be for everyone. The idea that like we all have stuff. Everyone has something that they've either gone through or are currently going through. First of all, you're not alone because everyone has something. And sometimes people make it seem like their life is perfect, but everyone has something. Second of all, you can do hard things and life will continue to give to you the more work that you put into it. So don't give up. Just keep going because you will come out. If you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, you will come out of it and life will be bliss. It's Hashem.
Maddie Stein, thank you so much. Really appreciate the time. Hope you have a beautiful rest of the day.
Thank you. You too. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. I want to give a big thank you for Maddie for coming on and being so vulnerable. This is a real personal story that she told, and I hope that it's something that you all gained from. If you want to watch these episodes, but you don't want to go on YouTube, right? Or you don't want to be on the internet, I don't know. Download the Meaningful Minute Plus app, and that is the place that you can watch our episodes offline. Even download it. Maybe you're heading onto a flight, maybe going on a train, a drive. You can download it, and it'll be saved in your account. You can watch it offline. Not just that, so much exclusive content is available right now on Meaningful Minute Plus. Live streams, bonus episodes like Stories of Hope. A bonus episode is coming out. Maybe you've heard about the episode she did with one of her single friends. Yes, that content is available right now on Meaningful Minute Plus, and new content comes out every single week. We have a 5-part course on Teshuvah right now from Judah Michelle. Don't wait, become a member today, and you support Meaningful Minute at the same time. All the content we are creating are thanks to our Plus members. Become a Plus member right now at mmplus.org. It is simple, it is easy, it is for you. Check it out right now at mmplus.org. I want to give a big thank you to my friends at Bloom's for keeping our office always stacked with the best snacks. That is our sponsor. That is our friend. So if you're in the grocery and you see a Bloom's item on that shelf, you make sure you grab it. You say, they're a friend of Meaningful People. They're a friend of mine. Thank you, Bloom's. Thank you, everyone who watched, tuned in. And even if you're not a Plus member, I really appreciate you being part of our community, being part of this big, wide community. And I can't wait to bring another episode your way next week of Meaningful People. Have an awesome week, everybody.